There we go. That was different, dude. Very different there. A little higher trajectory. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Better Golf Project. We are here at Legends Golf Center with my man, Austin. I've been working with Austin for a couple years on his golf game. Austin, real quick, kind of give us a little rundown of where you're at and what your background is.
Right now, I've kind of just been not playing as much, but trying to get back into it a little bit. Hopefully maybe try to go play somewhere again. Just trying to get better. I mean, we've had a few lessons here lately where I feel like I made some much better and bigger improvements that helped me with my ball striking, because I don't really necessarily always have to worry about my short game, but long games where I've always had to try to get better with.
Yeah, so we always get into it with the lesson of like, where are you losing the most shots, right? Like at the end of the day, we don't care. Honestly, like at me as a coach, I'm a golf coach. I'm not necessarily just all about your golf swing. So I want to understand like what's keeping you from getting to your goal, right? And Austin's trying to play college golf, and so his goal is to really, I mean, you're like a 0 to 1 handicap, so he's a really good player, but to get to that next level, he needs to be, you know, +2, +3 handicap, shooting under par consistently. So we're gonna kind of just go through, let you guys be like a fly on the wall for this lesson, and hopefully you learn a little something along the way, and work on Austin's game a little bit. All right, so just hit a couple for me. All right, so a big thing we've worked on with you is basically how do you use the ground with your lead side? So you have a tendency to get the path a little into out, which leads to kind of overdraws, right? And so that's a big thing that we've been working on with you. And so our goal is to get, you know, the low point a little more consistent. So on the PGA Tour, an elite golfer, they'll get low point with an 8-iron, probably anywhere from like 4.5 to 5 inches ahead on average. And what that does for them is it allows them to have a very consistent strike through the golf ball. So they're not gonna hit a lot of balls fat or thin. When we get your swing direction a little more right for you, and so for the people at home, what that would be is like if you're looking down the line and the divot for Austin, we wanna see that divot exit a little more right through the strike, and that allows him to hit down on the ball a little bit better, create a little more height, a little more fade bias, ball flight maybe. And so one of the ways we're working on doing that is using his lead side to push against the ground. So for him, it would be his right side, and create force against the ground to allow him to have leverage to get the club to stay more in front of him. And so if he were to not use the ground, if he were to go this way with his lower body, then that club would get a little bit behind him, and that leads to kind of blocks or overdraws, especially with driver. Low point was a little behind it and you hit it a little heavy. All right, keep going for me. I would say one thing that I see here, and you can pull the camera over here if you want. Basically, if you watch your chin, it kind of floats down a little bit. And so basically you'll see a little bit of tilt this way with him. And that's kind of setting him up to swing a little more out to in. In to out, okay. Right? And so when you get that little extra tilt into your backswing, that's going to kind of cause that path to get a little more into out, or path or swing direction, one of the two. But either way, that's going to kind of lead to the shots that we don't want to see. We're going to do a quick drill to kind of work on that a little bit. I'm going to grab an alignment stick. So we're going to take the alignment stick and go ahead and set up to the ball normally for me. So the stick is gonna go like right between your feet, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to go about halfway back and pause for me, all right? I'll take it back halfway, good. Now what I want you to feel is on your downswing, like you're kind of reversing that tilt there, going more that way on your downswing, okay? And so what they'll be able to see on camera, do that again. So basically your sternum is feeling like it's going in front of the stick, and your belt buckle is feeling like it's going behind the stick. And so the golf club stays a little more in front of him there. And kind of like you're gonna feel like you're gonna hit probably like a low hook with your body on this shot, right? And so you may do that a little bit, but we should get a good kind of compressed feeling. And as you do that one more time. Your sternum is feeling like it's going in front of the stick, and your belt buckle is going behind the stick, right? So this is not something that we do a lot with like a beginner golfer, right? Like beginner golfers tend to be like steeper and more over here, and then they slice across it, right? But more elite level players will tend to be kind of more draw bias, hips get out this way, and then they're going to over release the golf club and lead to overdraws and overhooks. So not necessarily something that I would try at home, but I think it's still really good for you guys out there, like, to understand the dynamics of the golf swing start from the ground up pretty much all the time. So even for a beginner golfer, like, you know, we've got to learn what to do with our feet, right? So do like a little smooth one like that. Yep. Good. All right, let's do it again. Yep, so swing direction got a little more right there. Low point got a little more ahead. Keep going. There we go. That was different, dude. Very different there. A little higher trajectory. Yep, so if you look here, that golf club is entering from just under his hands. It's kind of blurry with the lighting. And so that kind of sets him up for the hand path to go a little bit more right. And it's gonna kind of quiet the face through impact. It looks really good there, using the ground a little bit more. So that's a good feel for you. Higher launch, right? And so you actually, it's interesting with him is, you know, his low point was pretty good. Like normally when you see somebody with the club path super into out, the low point will be back, right? Unless they're just scooping the heck out of it. But you know, your low point was pretty good because you're a good player, right? And so not only were you overdrawing the ball, but you were hitting it low. So I like that flight a lot better. That was super neutral. So if you look here at the numbers, his swing direction was 1 right, which is awesome with an 8-iron. Low point was 4.4 ahead. Path was just slightly into out, so he had a nice high draw. So if we wanted to see fades, he'd have to get that sweet spot to move a little more rightward through the golf ball. So, but you know, now he's kind of more neutral, and so he can kind of have a preference, right? So if I get him a little more neutral in terms of his swing direction, right, the whole direction of the golf club going through the shot or through the ball, then he's going to have more options in terms of how he wants to work the golf ball. So I like that feel for you, dude. That's all right. Yeah, it's just a little towards the toe. There you go, dude. Higher, softer, gonna fall out of the sky. That was your fade right there. Swing direction 3 right, club path 1 right, and so you know, again, just really straight ball flight, pretty good contact there. You know, low toe just a little bit, but overall apex is going up, so you're hitting it higher, and it's gonna kind of fall softer and hold greens a little bit better. So do one more for us. Little overdraw, yeah, try one more. So path just got a little more left there, so you can see the ball flight curve a little more left to right. As a general rule, in terms of ball flight laws, we want the club face to be about half of the club path. So if our club path is 3 left, we want the face to be 1.5 right, that face to path, that is. So the farther we get that path number away from 0, for the most part, it's going to be harder to control that face because that face number is going to have to increase. So if my club path is like 10 right or 10 left, now I've got to get that face 5 degrees closed or open to that club path. So it's gonna be a little bit harder to repeat. Now, there are definitely elite players out there that swing the golf club 7-6 in to out, right? Probably not a lot of them that swing it 7-6 out to in. And they play really good golf, right? You think of probably like a Zach Johnson or a Chad Campbell, right? Guys that are really into out and primarily just hit draw after draw after draw, and they can play it, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that it's optimal. Yes, sir, good ball. Yeah, so he's hitting range balls and there's water on the golf ball, so spin rate's gonna be a little low, but the swing numbers are a lot better there. Probably the biggest takeaway for me, apart from the feels for you, is you got to slow down a little bit to do it right? So we saw you kind of start to repeat it, and you did it really well, and then you were like, I'm gonna try to take more of a full swing, and then we kind of struggled a little bit. We got a little more toe contact. So that's a big piece of advice at home, is like, when you're trying to change something in your golf swing, and you try to go to 100 miles an hour right away, you're probably gonna struggle, right? So the discipline to do that is do it slow so you can repeat it. I tell people all the time, getting really good at golf is sometimes really boring because you have to sit there and hit the same shot over and over and over again, probably at 60, 70% speed on the range in order to repeat it, all right? Hopefully you guys learned a little something from that. Austin, thanks for coming on as always. Keep working on his game and documenting his progress on the channel. Yeah, thanks for following. Definitely like and subscribe. We're gonna try to help you guys with more golf tips. Have a good one.